Welcome to my channel Bperfect Beauty. If you are new to my channel, my name is Juliana. In today's video, we're going to be playing with the new Vigorously palette from Playing Makeup by Yolondo. So this palette is not new to me. I've had this for about 3 months now. Yeah, I've had it for about 3 months, if not even more. I got my palette from a mystery box. So she did like a new palette mystery box, and I bought it and I got this one. So she added, there was a few of the palettes going at that time. There was the neutral one, the neutral matte one. So I'm glad I didn't get that one, and this was the one I got. Yeah, so I've had it for over 3 months now. I already have a video on my channel swatching this palette, so we're not going to be swatching today. Today is going to be just about the looks. So the look right here on my eyes are created from this palette. So this is the inside of the palette if you've not seen it before. I mean, she's posted it ages ago at a sneak peek. I don't know what you want to call it. It's been on social media for a while now. But if you've not seen it, this is the inside of the Vigorously palette. It's absolutely beautiful. So it's like Candyland, Candy Dreams. In my swatch video, this was the palette I had on my eyes in that video, although I did not film it, but I did them 2 looks. So it was a 2-tone eye look, not too different to each other, because I kind of played with the purple shade as well as the maroon shade, so it looks similar, but when you look closely you can see that they are 2 different eye looks, unlike this one which is blatantly different. Yeah, so this is technically my 3rd and 4th look with the palette. So if you'd like to know how I created this look and how this palette performs, then please keep on watching. I definitely want a 2-tone look, so I'm thinking of maybe one eye, these 3 columns here, and the other eye, these 3 columns, but possibly both looks tailored towards autumn. Yeah, because there seems to be a lot of autumn shades. I mean, orange, dark brownish, green, and then purple. Those are the shades I have in mind. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with the look, but you just have to see. So yeah, 3 columns here, 3 columns here, 1 on each eye. Yeah. Alright, starting with the darkest shade for this side, and it's called Unbridled. I'm going to use that to kind of like define the eye shape I want. So like a line. Going into an angled brush with the same shade, I want to kind of like tidy up the line. So I should really be using like a shield protector to kind of create the shape, but I think I can get the same effect with an angled brush. Yeah, I think it's straight enough. If I want it straighter than this, I might use a concealer to clean up. Yeah, and then back to that first brush, I'm just going to build on the color more. And I'm also taking it a little bit into my lower lid. Alright, going to the next shade is called Jealous, and I think this is a toss between orange and red. Don't quite know exactly what the shade is, but it's definitely a mixture of orange and red. I'm just laying it over the first shade. I'll be blending later on, but right now I'm just placing the colors first. Alright, next thing I'm going to do is to slightly blend that first shade into the second shade. So I'm kind of like pushing that color upwards. Okay, I'm leaving the outer corner for now, and I'm going to start working on my inner corner. So I'm going to start with this orange. If it's too bright, I might mix it with that whatever peach shade, but I'm starting with this one. So this is called Metasome, and I'm going to bring that in the inner part of my lid. So tilting my head backwards because I don't want it to go too much near my nose. Yeah, so that gives me better control, and I can also access my crease properly without the shade going all over the place. Just stamping and building up that shade. Alright, just above that orange, I'm going to mix these 2 shades together. I feel that this is going to be too pastel-y, so I'm going to try and mix these 2 colors together. So I'm going to use that right towards my brow bone and a little bit in front of that orange. In fact, my brush is barely touching my skin. Towards my brow bone, I'm only going to use the shade, the pastel shade. So I'm going to use that to set the eyeshadow base I put on, because I don't want many dark colors to have too much of an impact towards my brow bone. Yeah, just like that. So I'm going to leave like that for now before I start applying the darker shades. Going back to the mixture of those 2 shades, I'm now going to pull that towards my crease just underneath the pastel shade. see the difference? This is probably going to be a very crazy look. That's what I feel like doing today. Okay, back to that orange Metosome. I am now going to concentrate it a little bit more in my crease now that I have the other shade on just above it. I'm going to take the Metosome just to meet the shades on my outer corner. So basically all through my crease. Okay, I like that. I don't know what to do quite on the lid, you know, the missing spot there. Okay, I think I might build up the red a little bit higher than what it is now. So not going too crazy, but just extend it a little bit into my main lid. Alright, for the empty spot on my lid, I'm going with this pink. That's what it looks like, and I'm using like a more or less soft brush really, so I can kind of pat the shade down. So I'm literally just tapping the color down before I start blending into the orange. So I'm bringing that from the ridge of my eyes like that. I'm gonna use it to cut my crease. I hope it does show up under that orange, but if not, I'm gonna have to change my color. Right, it's not very deep and it's not showing up, so I'm gonna go with that reddish orange shade. Okay, this one seems to be showing up, but I might change my brush. So I'm just using it to define my crease, like almost like I'm cutting my crease. Then I'm gonna start blending it into that pink. And then going into the first brush I used to apply the red, I'm gonna use that to start blending, but not too much. I'm also going to bring it back a little bit under that pink. Remember, I had a red just above the burgundy, which seems to have disappeared now with the pink. And then now going back to the same brush I used for Metosome, the one in the front part of my face. I'm going to use that to blend out all the shades towards my brow bone. Yeah, I kind of love the gradient that orange is giving on my towards my brow bone. It's really nice. Alright, for my lower lid, I'm going with that pink I put on my lid, and I'm going to start from the middle part of my lower lid. Remember, I already have the darker shade on the outer edge, so this is for the middle and the front part of my lid. And then going back to that darker shade Unbridled, the one I put on my outer lid. I just want to make sure that the color hasn't disappeared. Right, that's this side done. Let's move on to the other side. Okay, just like this side, I'm going to start with the darkest shade, so which is the green. So remember, I'm concentrating on this side for this eye. So I'm going to start with the green and then just build it up, maybe this next to it. So basically, as I have the other eye, I'm going to do to this one. Yeah, I'm starting on my lower lid on this side because it's just easier since it's my right hand. And then just pulling the shape just like I have on the other eye. So I'm doing the same look but just different colors. Going into the next shade of green. This one is called Vehement. I'm gonna use that on the lower part of my upper lid. Then going to the first dark green, I'm gonna blend upwards and then back to the lighter green. Alright, for the inner part of this side, I'm going with this shade. If it's too light, then I'm going to swap to this or mix it with this, but I'm starting with this one. And I'm going to tilt my head upwards and start stamping just right in the corner there. I'm also bringing it down towards the inner part of my eyes, but with a different brush because that's fluffier. And then going back to the original brush and now stamping again, and I'm taking it a little bit towards my brow bone. Alright, for the empty part of my lid, I'm going to save time because on this I did use a mixture of two colors, but unless I need to, I'm going to use just one shade, and I want a purple. I'm not sure whether to go with this one or that one. Okay, this is the one on top, and this one, yeah, that looks too light, so I'm going to go for the darker one. I'm going to start gently because I got a feeling this might have fallout since it's purple. Alright, soak my brush to a more fluffy one. That one was too stiff, so I feel this one is not giving me as much control as I want, but it's spreading the color easily, kind of easier than the first one. So for the inner part, I'm going to use that first one because it's stiffer. So I have more control with this one than the one I changed to, but this is not spreading the color as much as I want, or as easy as I want basically. So I'm going to use this one to stamp the color, then use the second brush to spread it. Now this is a crazy look, but this palette is also a crazy looking palette. And towards the end of my lid, I'm going to start blending in now into the green. So basically stamping, but stamping really hard. And then going into the brush I used to apply the pink, the light pink in my crease, I'm going to use that to kind of blend again and blend the purple and the first color together. So taking a little bit of that first color again, and I'll stamp just over that purple. So it's a bit of back and forth, especially when it comes to purple. Very difficult color to blend sometimes. And then back to the purple with the fluffy brush. I'm going to re-intensify it where I've lost a little with that light pink. That's the thing with blending, is always back and forth. This is why I'm always picking colors or looks that won't require me blending them. And then back into the lighter one, just make sure that the edges are clean as much as they can be. And then going back into that medium range green, I'm just going to make sure I bring back the green where I lost it to the purple as much as possible. I'm going to put shimmers on this, but I still want the base to be there. And then back to that darkest green, I'm just going to re-intensify that shade again everywhere I've lost it. So I still want the gradient to be showing, even though there is a lighter green, I want that darker green to be showing as well. Okay, I think I'm fine with the lid. I just need to decide what color I want for my lower lid. Alright, I'm going to go with the medium tone green, the one on my lid. I have a feeling it's not going to give me much dimension, but I'm going to try it anyway and see what it looks like. Alright, just so I can have more dimension, I'm going to put this in the lower part of the, in the inner part of the green. I don't know if it's going to show up on that darker green, but I'm going to try. Okay, it shows up a little, but at least it gives me more dimension, seeing 3 shades of green rather than those two. They were too close together. So with this, I can see 3. I almost wish there is a black to kind of like darken that green more. There's no black in the palette. Okay, I think I'm satisfied with the matte. I mean, I think with the shimmers I'm gonna have to bring more light to this side because it seems so much darker than this one. I mean, you can't help it with the colors. I was dealing with dark colors here, and I was dealing with like lighter colors, pink, orange, and here purple and green. So it is what it is. So I'm gonna definitely need to bring some balance. But it's time for the shimmers. The shimmers I'm going to be applying, I want to be exactly as I've applied the mattes, as much as possible anyway. So on my lower lid on the side, I'm going to start with this shade. On the lower part of my upper lid, I'm going to go with this, and then towards my crease, I'm going to find a purple that kind of matches the purple I have on. So starting with that mint green, I'm going to put that on the inner part of my lid, just exactly as I put the matte. Yeah, like that. That is bright. I'm going with a medium tone shimmer green called Determined. I'm just going to lay that a little bit over that mint. It's too light. Yeah, that mint was definitely too light. It was lighter than I was expecting. So yeah, just like that. So it leaves the pop right in the inner part of my lid. Alright, for my upper inner corner, I'm going with this one. And I'm laying that right on the purple. This shade looks like a duochrome. If you've not seen my swatches of this palette, I'm going to link it to this video. But right now, yeah, that's what that looks like. So I might lighten it later, but I'm not going to think about that for now. So for now, we're going to go with the green and the purple. Okay, on top of the green is going to be one of these two shades. So this is what one looks like, and this is what the second one looks like. I think I might start with this. Ugh, I don't know. It's too many choices. I might start with this. I mean, there's a green there, but I'm not sure I really want that on my lid. Maybe start with that, and then maybe if I need to top up with this or kind of like give it a pop with this other two, but I'll start with this. This palette is beautiful. Honestly, you need to see the swatches of the shades in this palette. Absolutely gorgeous. With my finger, I'm just going to tap that down. Yeah, see, more intensity with my fingers. I'm just topping right there. And on the upper part of my lid, I'm going with this purple. I used this one in my last look and it was beautiful. I'm going to have to swap to a brush to get precise control, otherwise this will be out of control and all over my crease, and I don't want that. So for now, I'm using my finger, but when I get to the inner part of my lid, I'm definitely going to have to swap to a brush. Swap into a brush now. I'm going to tilt my head backwards to get precise access without it going on my crease. I'm applying pressure to kind of create a cut crease effect. So I'm stamping down towards my crease and really cutting that crease with the brush and shimmer. Okay, as I'm blending shade, I'm going to try one of those shimmers I swatched earlier. Just kind of blend the two shades together. Yeah, that is gorgeous. So it's blue, but it has like reflex of other colors in it. I think I can see purple, I can see blue, I can see green. So that's what makes it so perfect to blend the two shades together. Oh, wow. Alright, I want to intensify that in betweener shade without using a glitter primer. So I'm going to go with Palmagrat's intensifier pen and just stamp down. Possibly put a little bit on my hand as well and then tap. Okay, so I put it on the back of my hands and then I'm tapping on my lid. And I'm going to go back into that in-betweener shade. So that's it. Tapping over that. Yeah. Yeah. So I didn't want like an extra texture on top of it, but I want to intensify the shade. And then going back into that purple shimmer one more time and just kind of re-emphasizing that purple on my crease. Yeah, just like that. That is gorgeous. Am I ever going to do a simple look with this palette? At some point, but not yet. I mean, look at the palette. It's a bit crazy, isn't it? Absolutely gorgeous. Ugh. Anyway, let's do the shimmer on this eye. Alright, the options I have for this eye are these shimmers. So this one is this. The one on my middle finger is that one, and then the one on that is that one. So these are my options. I think I'm going to go for this one in my lower lid, possibly lay a little bit of that if it's too bright, and this one on my main lid. Right, for my inner corner first. Wow. Yeah, that is beautiful. I'm not sure it needs toning down, but I'm going to try that next orange anyway. Okay, for the next orange. Oh, wow. This one has like flecks of, it's like orange and gold. Don't know if you can see that. That is beautiful. On top of that pink, it's absolutely gorgeous. I'm now going for aggressive on the main part of my lid. Ooh. Wow, that is gorgeous. I'm taking a little bit of that towards my inner lid. I have to swap to a brush now. So on the lower part of my lid towards my tear duct, I've swapped to a brush. So it's still the same shade. Just with a brush. Alright, for the top of my lid, I know there is no green anywhere near here, but I am crazily going to go into that one. And I'm going to put that right on top of my lid towards my crease. Yeah, it was going to be crazy, but I needed something. There isn't a pink, there isn't a bright pink shimmer. And I need dimension, so that's where this comes in. Going with a brush just to give me precise application. So once I get my shape down, I'm now going to pat down. And just continue to pat down. Make sure that the shade is dry on my crease with the glitter primer and it doesn't crack up. So just pushing down the color to make sure it sinks into the glitter primer. That is bright. Alright, for a blending shade between those two colors, I'm going to go with this one. So this is called Uncontrolled, because they are so different to each other that I definitely need something to kind of tone down both shades in the middle. At the same time, I do not want to lose that orange, because I do like that orange shade, but yeah, definitely need something, some sort of common ground. Okay, I think they are three shades are pretty much blended together. So on the last note, I'm going into that orange that I put on my crease to try and blend that green better into my crease, since it's kind of like very different to the orange shade I put in my crease. So I need to like stamp it down just to help it blend in better. I mean, I could very well introduce green into my crease, but I don't want to. I might use a green liner or whatever it is that kind of matches that yellow to try and blend it in better. Maybe orange liner? I don't know. We'll have to see. Yeah, that's so much better when stamped into the matte. Yeah, I think that looks so much better. Yeah, is it a crazy look? Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, I do promise I will do a simple look with this palette, but not today. So that's the look from a little bit afar. Yeah, I mean, it can't be helped. Look at it. It's just so bright. I suppose I could have stuck with maybe two shades, three, two mattes or three mattes on each side, and then just slap on a shimmer, but that day is not today. I definitely will do a simple look with this palette. It's just so beautiful and colorful. This is so exciting. Okay, I'm gonna apply my mascara. I don't know if I'm gonna use mascara yet, but at least line on my waterline and lashes, and just kind of bring this look back together. I don't know what lipstick I'm gonna use, because it's so, I don't know, possibly an orange, but I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back for the finished look, and this is what everything is looking like. So to complete my look, I used two different colors on my waterline. So the first one I used was from Plouise, and it's called Paint a Life You. Now I'm not sure if that's exactly what the name is. If it's different, I'll put it on the screen, but that's what I read at the back of the paint. And for this side, I used Melt Concha pot for my waterline. I was gonna use orange first, but I felt that the pink kind of brings out the look more, especially since I wanted a pink shimmer and there was none in the palette. And for my lipstick, I was so happy when I think possibly this is the first thing I picked up. This is Cranberry from Makeupby by Yolondo. So I do have this shade, I have to say. I'm pretty sure I have this shade in a lot of lipstick, even from Palmagra, but I don't know, there's something about this one. It's not too dark, it's not light, it's not exactly wine. Yeah, this is like a perfect mixture of red and wine. I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, that's how it feels to me. So that's what I used on my lips. As for my lashes, they are from It's Bell Cosmetics, and this one is called Lush. And this is the look up close. It's over the top, but I really love how it turned out. I mean, at first I was a bit, what I was gonna go for at first, if I'm being honest, I wanted to put my shimmer slanted. Then I kind of changed my mind, because I felt like it would be too complicated for a look on YouTube. So I might do what I was gonna go for in the first instance and post that on Instagram. But I just felt that if I had done it on YouTube, it would take too long and the video would be too long if I really wanted to show you every step. So I kind of went and settled for this. Otherwise the matte wouldn't have been as complicated as this. But yeah, this is what we have, and this is the finished look. Alright, as for the palette, this is not the first time I'm using the palette. I mean, I think I did a bit of quick review on my swatch video. I'm bringing the palette up close again. As for today's look, the only thing I wished on from this palette is for a pink shimmer. I mean, that was the only thing I was missing on this eye, if I'm going to add anything to it. If I were doing this look another time, I would have just reached for another palette and, you know, grabbed them pink shimmer. But today, because we're focusing on the palette, I definitely wished there was a pink shimmer in this palette. But other than that, everything did what it was supposed to do. The blend of colors in my inner corner, both sides, they were just beautiful. Even when I mixed the shade, everything just worked together as it was supposed to. But as for the palette, is it colorful? Absolutely. I mean, that is the beauty of this palette. It's absolutely gorgeous. But you can tone down your look because it's got pretty much a lot of dark shades, as well as dark shimmers and, you know, light shimmers and light mattes. That's something I like about this palette. So you can keep it as simple as you want, and you can keep it as complicated as you want. That's the way I see it. But either way, really, it's quite versatile. The mattes are pretty much what we are used to from playing in Makeupby Yolondo. The shimmers, however, this is where there is a difference, which I did mention in my swatch video as well. 99% of the shimmers in this palette are new formulas. So they are like your potty formula, your beauty bay Glamlite formula, which has never been seen before from playing in Makeupby Yolondo, apart from one or two of the Infinity palettes. But apart from that, in a big palette, she's never put this kind of shimmers in there. So this is the first palette that will be having such shimmers. And something else pretty peculiar to our big palette in this one is this shade here. This is called Strainers, and it's like a chromish shade. So she does have this. I've seen this in one or two of our newer palettes, but this is the first time I'm seeing it in like a big palette. I know something similar like to this was in Babs palette as well, the collaboration she just had with Babs. So something like this was actually in that palette. So that is the only thing that is different in this palette compared to our previous palette. So mattes are the same, shimmers not so much. Shimmers are definitely new. So you have to be careful how to use the shimmers. Don't get it too wet. When I apply the in-betweener shade on this eye and I used the Permagrat Intensifier pen, I knew it was the best idea, because if you packed on too much glitter primer, the shadows will come in all, I want to say, textured. And when I used this, I was kind of feeling too lazy to go for the pen again, so I did put a little bit of primer, and you can see that that's more textured compared to this one. Yeah, so when you're using it, just try and use as little glitter primer as possible. If possible, go for the light glitter primers, like the one from JD Glow, or the ones from Gimme Glow as well. Gimme Glow has like a water kind of, I don't know if they still sell it, but I know I do have it. So theirs doesn't have like extra substance in the glitter primer, so it's just pretty much glitter primer without punch, like the BH Cosmetics primer. So the BH Cosmetics primer, as well as the Nyx primer, has like an extra, you see, it has like an extra texture in it to kind of help the shadow adhere more. But when you are using a shadow that has texture, you have to be very careful to use a very light glitter primer. And the best one I've found for shades like this is the one from JD Glow Stock, because that's literally like water. Really, you just kind of put it on your lid and it's so flat and it doesn't give extra texture for the shimmer. So yeah, I would definitely recommend that when it comes to this palette. If you don't want to have textured kind of look, or if you already have textured lids, I would definitely recommend that glitter primer. Alright guys, that's the end of today's video. I hope you've enjoyed these two looks I created from the Vigorously palette. If you have enjoyed this video, please like it, share it and subscribe to my channel. And until next time, I'll see you.